Once upon a time, Spider-Man got cloned. Well, he was actually cloned a couple of times, but the most popular among all these guys is Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider. He's had a couple of different looks over the years, like his crop-topped Scarlet Spider outfit, or his costume from the Beyond Corporation, his infamous Chasm suit, his other infamous suit. But what about this costume? The outfit he creates for himself in Sensational Spider-Man issue 0. This outfit is probably the second most popular look for the character, and everyone on Spider-Man Twitter who knows what it is says it's the greatest Spider-Man design of all time. I didn't really understand the hype for it. I mean, come on, it's just another classic suit redesign. Big spider, web shooters on the outside, weird cut-up boots and gloves for some reason. I mean, I like a classic-esque suit, and I can appreciate a costume like this, but this outfit really just doesn't top the classic for me, you know? But regardless, it's still a pretty slick look, and I gotta have it in my closet. So let's get to making it. When Ben Reilly made this costume, he was even poorer than Peter Parker himself. The materials he made his suit from were stolen from the discard bin of a university fashion department. Jesus Christ, how much fabric are these guys wasting that a guy can break in and steal enough to make a Spider-Man costume? My fabric scraps aren't this big. Anyway, I won't be breaking into a university to get my fabric. The fabric for my suit was graciously given to me by the great CAVIN'S Creations. You've heard me mention him before, as he's one of the greatest Spider-Man suit makers of our time. He sent me some gorgeous fabrics that I'm thrilled to be working with. If this stuff looks great to you, you'll be able to get some too. Cavin is working on an Etsy shop, and his own website, where you can purchase his fabrics. It doesn't have to be just these either. You can purchase fabric in all kinds of colors and thicknesses, as well as printing your own custom patterns onto the fabric. Cavin has been perfecting the ink he prints on these fabrics for a long time, years in fact, and in my time working with them, I've found the fabrics to be incredibly durable and stretchy. The biggest size the fabric comes in is 55 centimeters by 80 centimeters, or 21.65 by 31.5 inches if you aren't a centimeter kind of guy. Thank you so much to Cavin for sending me these wonderful materials, and I hope you guys at home get the chance to work with them by clicking on the link in the description. Alright, let's start with the mask, my favorite part of any Spider-Man costume. Now I knew going into this that I wasn't going to risk using my old mask pattern. Look at how my TASM 1 suit turned out with all those ugly wrinkles going down my head. No, I needed something else. If you hadn't noticed, I wore a PSM mask in a previous video that had a different mask pattern, with seams that went down the side of my head, as opposed to going down the back of my head. That was a test mask that I made, just to see if this new pattern, graciously given to me by the great Eggsomnia, would work. Jesus, 2 times in this video I've mentioned better Spider-Man costumers than me. Anyway, after making that PSM mask, I knew it would be right for the Sensational suit, and I quickly got to work assembling a copy of the pattern Eggs lended me, which I can't show you, because Eggs is making me gatekeep it from you. For the lenses, I wanted them to be very similar to how they first appeared. Big, almost capital D-shaped rims, with thin frames. Maybe I should have added some points to them like the original art does. But I didn't want them breaking off on me with repeated wear, which they do. Anyway, they're all glued onto the mask now, which completes it. I was then trapped in a splint for 6 weeks, halting progress on the costume. In this time, I furthered my live streaming career. I played the whole first season of The Walking Dead, I played a lot of Marvel Rivals, and I even played Minecraft without endangering the safety of my fans. You see, most Minecraft YouTubers can't say that. I have to go deeper! Anyway, if you want to see those, look at the live streaming tab on my channel. There's something really cool about the Sensational suit that tends to get ignored whenever it's redrawn. The webbing on the chest of the suit kind of looks like it spreads out from under the spider, which I really like. I love the idea that the chest logo is just one big spider sitting on its own web on Spider-Man's chest, as opposed to a spider just being on Spider-Man's chest with a web pattern behind it. I carried that over to my design, drawing a web on the chest that will fan out around the spider, which I will eventually sew on. I hate sewing on logos, so I'm saving that shit for last. Speaking of stuff I hate sewing, gloves. They were actually pretty easy this time, especially because I altered the design of them. I always thought the gloves on this costume were so randomly designed. Why are these 2 fingers blue but the rest of them are red. What kind of sense does that make? But after staring at this design for hours, I've realized that the boots kind of do the same thing. Half of the boots are blue, half of them are red. The same kind of goes for the gloves, except only the web shooting fingers are blue. I decided to change this by adding more red and merging the finger and thumb into one section of red fabric, so the viewer would have an easier time seeing the parallel between the boots design and the gloves. I know some people may dislike this change, but I think it's a fresh take on giving Spider-Man red fingers on his gloves, which happens a lot. The leggings were probably the easiest part of this costume, so easy that I can't think of really much else to say about them. You know what else was easy? The boots for this costume. I never thought about how much of a breeze this suit would be, considering how much less webbing there is to paint on. I only had to paint the webs on for one side of each boot. This was where I made another slight change to the web pattern, this time making it look like the webs start at the heel and get wider as they reach the top of the boot. I also made sure the red portion of the boots are a little taller than the blue side, so they could have that rounded edge that they do in the comic art. And once they were all cut out, sewing them was no job. Man, I am on a roll here. The arms could have been made in my sleep. All I needed was to create a red webbed shoulder out of the top part of the pattern, and the rest of the arm is blue fabric. There is no better showing of how easy this was than just displaying how these pattern pieces look unsewn. Anyway, the difficulty curve is coming up. I've still got to cut out and sew on the big-ass spider. This was done by taking some black fabric, folding it at half the width of the spider design, and then tracing out the spider with puff paint. Then, once the spider was dry, it was pinned down to keep it symmetrical, and then cut out. Then, it was unpinned, spread out onto the webbed chest piece, and then pinned down again. After that, it was meticulously sewn on. This process was repeated for the back as well. I know I'm summing this up in only a couple of sentences, but in total, this costume took me like 3 days of time. I told Kevin I would finish it in that time, and I meant it. The first 2 days were spent doing all the easy stuff, and the final day was dedicated to putting on the spider logos, which took me about 6 hours total to produce both pieces. After that, it was simply a matter of sewing the shirt and arm pieces together, which was a piece of cake compared to everything else I had to do. And with that, the suit was finally complete. And that was my sensational suit. But for some of you keen-eyed viewers, you may be wondering what those things are on my wrist. And you're probably upset that I didn't mention them in the video. You need to show us how you made the web shooters. How did you make the web shooters? I won't tell you! It's a trade secret. I'm just kidding. I've just been putting off making a video about it. I'll probably end up doing a web shooter tutorial at some point, and I don't mean like web shooter as in they actually shoot webs. I just mean like some props that you can put on your wrist. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to Kevin for these beautiful fabrics. I couldn't have made this suit without you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys continue to check out the rest of the channel after watching. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all in the next episode.